PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome, Golden Knights fans, to Vegas Hockey Hub Recap here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele, and we have a great show for everyone watching all around the world as we are going to be recapping the exciting game between your Vegas Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets. And before we get into that, I do want to remind everybody to go to PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. Check out all the content we have on there. We have a dozen shows on the network, including Vegas Hockey Hub. So I highly recommend to everyone watching all around the world, either go to the website and check out all the content on here, or go to, if you're on the website, check out all the other shows, not just Vegas Hockey Hub. Also, if you're on the YouTube channel, welcome in. If you want to subscribe to the PR Connections YouTube channel and watch all of the content on there, including Vegas Hockey Hub, that would be fantastic. And if you're on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel, where we upload daily, welcome in. And if you want to like this video and share it to all your friends all around the world, it would be much appreciated. If you want to go to any of our social medias, it is at PR Connections Radio or at Vegas Hockey Hub. We are on all major social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We are everywhere on Vegas Hockey Hub. So for anybody who is coming over from the social medias, welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub. We appreciate your support. And if you want to follow your host on Twitter, my Twitter handle is right down there at Ian Rachiele 18. I am posting content every single day onto my Twitter. So it is at Ian Rachiele 18 right down here. So let's get into the Vegas Golden Knights Winnipeg Jets recap show. And we're going to start out with some of the pregame notes that happened. And the first one was the starting goalie for the Winnipeg Jets in the game against Vegas. And it is, of course, the Stanley Cup winning goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights, Laurent Brossoit. Laurent Brossoit making his return to Winnipeg after winning a Stanley Cup in Vegas. Now, I put out a tweet on Vegas Hockey Hub saying, on one hand, I want to see him do well since he's a former Golden Knight. ... On the other hand, I want to see the Vegas Golden Knights pick up the win. So it was a very unfortunate situation. I wanted to see Brossoit do well. I really wanted to see a goaltending battle between Thompson and Brossoit. That's what I really wanted to see. A 1-0 battle would have been great for me, but that's besides the point. So yeah, Laurent Brossoit coming back, taking on Vegas for the first time since leaving Vegas this offseason to go back to Winnipeg after winning a Stanley Cup. I will say kind of a round of applause for Brossoit because he did pretty good here in Vegas. We needed him in the first round of the playoffs against Winnipeg, who he beat, and in the early second round against Edmonton. So no doubt about it, he made an impact here in Vegas. It was only 2 seasons, but it was still an important 2 seasons here in Vegas. So just want to quickly mention former Vegas Golden Knight goaltender and Stanley Cup winning champion Laurent Brossoit was in net tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. And speaking of former Golden Knights, it was announced earlier before the game kicked off that former Vegas Golden Knight and former fan favorite Nate Schmitty would be a healthy scratch for Winnipeg. Now, it is unknown if he is actually injured or if he is just benched by Winnipeg. But considering the stats that Nate Schmidt has had since leaving Vegas, and considering how much his contract is with the Winnipeg Jets, there is a lot of speculation that he has been benched by the Winnipeg Jets. Because you have to remember, with Nate Schmidt, he was averaging 30 points a season here in Vegas. He goes to Vancouver. He only had 15 points there. He gets flipped to Winnipeg, and his stats have kind of gone down every year since he went to Winnipeg. So depending on the way you feel about it or depending on how you see it, this is a guy who went from 32 points in his first season in Winnipeg. Last year went down to 19 points and he had only 2 points in 5 playoff games last year for Winnipeg. So when it comes to Nate Schmidt, hopefully he didn't get benched. I wouldn't want that for anybody. But what I will say about Nate Schmidt is in 3 games this year, he had 0 points for Winnipeg, and he didn't play in the game against Vegas. So I will say for Nate Schmidt, hopefully I wish him well, but just wanted to point that out. He was a healthy scratch for Winnipeg. And lineup changes for your Vegas Golden Knights. Alec Martinez made his return to the Vegas Golden Knights after missing the first 4 games of the year after having an upper body injury in the preseason. Alec Martinez is back with the Vegas Golden Knights. And a result of that, Caden Korczak, not Keegan Korczak, Caden Korczak, he is now a healthy scratch. He is not in the main lineup. So Alec Martinez and Nick Hague was your first line defensive pairing tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. You have McNabb and Theodore, and then Hutton and Bahal has kind of become a stable third defensive pairing for now here in Vegas. So getting to the start of the game and not even 90 seconds in, former LA King Alex Iafallo scores his second goal of the season for Winnipeg, makes it a 1-0 game for the Winnipeg Jets. Good assist by Nino Niederreiter and Josh Morrissey on the play. Now, Alex Iafallo had a good game here, and we'll talk about it in detail later in the review. But when it comes to Alex Iafallo, I will say he is definitely performing like people in LA expected him to. This was a guy who was a middle 6 forward in LA. This is somebody that had a lot of potential, a lot of talent in LA, and the fact that he is now moved over to Winnipeg in the trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois. So this is someone who over time has really developed, and a lot of people thought he stagnated in LA. He was a guy that you get 35, 40 points a season in LA as a middle 6 forward. But now in Winnipeg, there's a chance that maybe he could eclipse a 40-point performance out there in Winnipeg. So yeah, Alex Iafallo did pretty well in this game after coming over from LA. So 90 seconds into the game, he scores the first goal and makes it a 1-0 game for the Winnipeg Jets, putting the Vegas Golden Knights behind the 8 ball. And I'll say this with Alex Iafallo, good play by him. Now, not much happened in the rest of the first period until 2.5 minutes to go when Jonathan Marchessault scores his second goal of the season, puts it at 1-1 for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I'll say this about Marchie, it was a solid play by him. He had a good amount of traffic, did what he had to do, solid motion there. So yeah, Jonathan Marchessault, second goal of the season, made it 1-1 in this game. Chandler Stevenson, Shea Theodore with the assist by Marchessault. So at the end of the first period, it was a 1-1 situation out there in Winnipeg. And not even a minute into the second period, welcome back Brett Howden. As Brett Howden, after serving that 2-game suspension due to the hit on Brandon Tanev, he came back in Anaheim, didn't have a lot of performance in Anaheim, but scores his first goal of the season against Winnipeg. And it was a 2-1 game for your Vegas Golden Knights. And I will say, Mark Stone had a nice setup here. The way that he actually extended the play, created the opportunity, opened the lane to get the puck to Brett Howden. That was a nice job by Mark Stone. I will give props and praise to Mark Stone, the captain of the Vegas Golden Knights, for the setup on the Howden goal, because he definitely extended the play and made it better and created an opportunity for Howden to put the puck back past Brisebois and made it a 2-1 game for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, later in the second period, the guy who made his return, Alec Martinez, scores his first goal of the season after returning from injury. And Paul Cotter, William Karlsson had a nice setup on this play as well. But Alec Martinez, first game back, first goal of the season, made it a 3-1 game. And that was an exciting part for the Vegas Golden Knights, going up by 2 and with about 2.5 minutes left in the second period. And not even half a minute later, the Winnipeg Jets would respond. Half a minute later, Cole Perfetti scores his first goal of the season for the Winnipeg Jets. This guy, a longtime prospect for the Winnipeg Jets, someone who has a lot of praise out there in Winnipeg, scored his first goal of the season, assisted by Nikolai Ehlers and Vladislav Nemestikov, and we made it a 3-2 game for the Vegas Golden Knights. So Perfetti, assisted by Ehlers and Nemestikov, and I'll say that this game had a good back and forth. This was kind of like a heavyweight fight. Some good jabs, some good hooks, some back and forth matchup between Vegas and Winnipeg. A lot of offense in this performance. So as the second period ended between Vegas and Winnipeg, it was a situation where you had Vegas was up by 1. Winnipeg had just scored a goal to get it within 1. And it was going to be curious to see how this game would go. Now, there was a heck of a save by Logan Thompson. I wish I could play the clip, but due to copyright situations, I'm not going to. So, due to copyright, I'm not going to play the clip of Logan Thompson doing this amazing save in the game against Winnipeg. I recommend going onto YouTube, opening another tab, and looking at the Logan Thompson save. It was incredible. Now, halfway into the third period, oh man, once again, the guy who's a middle six forward in Winnipeg, who they brought over from LA, Alex Iafallo, scored his second goal of the game for Winnipeg, assisted by Mark Scheifele, and for the second time this game, Nikolai Ehlers with his second assist for Winnipeg, tied it up at 3-3 for the Vegas Golden Knights and Winnipeg Jets. Now, this was an interesting goal because of the setup, the fact that there was also some good back and forth here. Now, on the Perfetti goal, I wasn't going to mention the unfortunate mistake that Mark Stone did on that play. He slipped and kind of allowed Winnipeg to get their bearings there. But yeah, so Alex Iafallo, second goal of the game, assisted by Mark Scheifele and Nikolai Ehlers to make it a tie game for the Vegas Golden Knights. For a while, for a couple of minutes, it looked like the Vegas Golden Knights were going to again go into overtime. They went into a shootout against Dallas in the previous game, but no problem for Jack. Jack Eichel, 4 minutes later, makes it a 4-3 game for your Vegas Golden Knights. Jack Eichel with his third goal of the season for the Vegas Golden Knights. And it was assisted by your captain, Mark Stone, and good defenseman, Shea Theodore. So Jack Eichel with Stone and Theodore on the assist to make it a 4-3 game for the Vegas Golden Knights. And then the Winnipeg Jets would pull the goalie, would make an empty net situation, and Nick Waugh would take advantage of it and would score the empty net goal to make it a 5-3 game, assisted by Shea Theodore, his second of the night. And just like that, the Vegas Golden Knights would win against the Winnipeg Jets, and it would be a 5-3 game. And it was definitely an exciting victory. The Golden Knights are 5-0 to start the season. Of course, they're taking on Chicago on Saturday. That'll be a fun recap show to go over, talking about the home season debut for the top prospect and the number 1 overall pick, Connor Bedard. That will be a great game at the United Center on Saturday. And yeah, I will say for the Vegas Golden Knights, beating Winnipeg, getting to 5-0, building that momentum, having the best record in NHL history for a defending champion to go 5-0 is incredible by them. And I will say the player of the game is no doubt Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson was incredible in net tonight. Adin Hill, Logan Thompson have been phenomenal in the first 5 games this year. I'm not going to go so far and say that they're Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman from Boston last year. But what I will say is that Logan Thompson and Adin Hill are showing why they could potentially be a top 5 goalie tandem in the NHL. A lot of people wrote off Logan Thompson and Adin Hill and you didn't see him on a lot of lists for the best goalie tandems in the NHL. You just didn't see it. Like, if you look at goalie tandems in the NHL, if you look that article up, you will see the New York Islanders, you'll see the New York Rangers, you will see some good teams on there, but you won't see the Vegas Golden Knights, which to me is a bit puzzling if I gotta say so myself. The fact that the NHL goalie tandems, they really didn't give any respect to the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, before the season started, almost nobody had them in the top 5, barely in the top 10. And it's actually kind of fascinating when you look at it. In fact, just to kind of back up what I'm saying, there was an article by Bleacher Report, which, by the way, I will say, shout out to Bleacher Report for writing this article. But when it came to Bleacher Report, they wrote an article about the goalie tandems in the NHL, and the Vegas Golden Knights were at number 10. So like I said, they barely made it to number 10. The teams that were ahead of them, by the way, just to kind of prove a point, you had Freddie Anderson and Antti Raanta for the Carolina Hurricanes. They were up there. You had Philippe Gustafsson and Marc-Andre Fleury from Minnesota. They were up there. You also had the Winnipeg Jets, Connor Hellebuck and Laurent Brisebois. They were on that list. Ilya Sorokin, Semyon Varlamov. They were on that list. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. Connor Hellebuck and Laurent Brisebois, I would actually put them above the Vegas Golden Knights. Connor Hellebuck is one heck of a goaltender, and Laurent Brisebois, we see what he can do in Vegas. He makes a lot of sense. I will also give credit to the Boston Bruins. Look, Linus Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman, they did phenomenal last year. We'll see if they can replicate that in this year. But when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, I don't really know. How many goalies can you really say are better at this point? Like, if you really break it down, like, you have Lehkonen and Saros out there in Nashville. Well, Saros is incredible, but what about Lehkonen? Because he is a former Chicago Blackhawk. He came over to Nashville. What about him? Andre Vasilevsky is a beast in himself, but Jonas Johansson, I don't really know how he's going to do as he plays more games for Tampa Bay. Scott Wedgwood is an incredible backup goaltender, and Jake Ottinger is one of the best goalies in the NHL. He's my Vezina Trophy winner nominee. But is that better than Hill and Thompson? And before anybody in Florida comes up and says, what about Bobrovsky and Spencer Knight? Well, we have to see if Spencer Knight can play a full season in the NHL. Let's see if he can actually come back and be the Spencer Knight that we know for a long time. Heck, even Colorado has had issues with injuries in the past. You have Alexander Georgiev and Pavel Francouz. So you have some good guys in Colorado defensively. I would say Toronto, I have a lot of respect for Ilya Samsonov and Joseph Woll, but are those guys really better than what Vegas has? So I will say, for everyone watching around the world, Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill are two of the best goalies in the NHL when it comes to goalie tandem. I personally would have them at number 3. Like, if you asked me to rank it right here, right now, I would say that they are the 3rd best goalie tandem in the NHL right now. That there really is only 2 goalie tandems in the NHL. I know it's a little bit of a rant, and I apologize for that. But when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, they are the 3rd. They are the bronze medal, in my opinion, when it comes to the goaltending tandem. Varlamov and Sorokin are kind of the number 1 for me. I will put that on there. And then Swayman and Ullmark, based off what they did last year, I think they'll kind of replicate that somewhat. So I would say Boston and New York would probably be 1A, 1B, but Vegas is on there. Anyway, apologies for the rant there. That was just on my mind. Just had to get that off. But Logan Thompson, incredible performance tonight, and he is somebody that definitely earns player of the game based off of what he did for the Vegas Golden Knights against Winnipeg, stopping 36 shots on 39 opportunities by Winnipeg. I have to address this again because I have noticed this. For the 5th game in a row, the Winnipeg Jets and Vegas Golden Knights, Winnipeg really showed that once again, Vegas started slow tonight. The energy just isn't there in the first period. And it's kind of becoming a reoccurring situation for Vegas. But it is. It's the fact that when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, it just feels like they are just slow to begin the game. They're sluggish. They don't got that energy to begin the game. So I just have to quickly mention this once again because they actually had a slow pace in this game. And their penalty kill, which I have mentioned a lot on this show, they actually let up their first power play goal of the season. So yeah, after having 4 games in a row where they let up 0 power play goals, you had the goal in late in the game by Alex Iafallo on the power play, and that was the first power play goal given up by the Vegas Golden Knights this season. And then lastly, I will say props to Winnipeg Jets forward Alex Iafallo for his 2-goal performance. Player of the game is meant to go to a Vegas Golden Knights player, but Alex Iafallo did impress me. He did a good job. 2-goal performance tonight by Winnipeg. Props to him. Now, what is next for the Vegas Golden Knights? Well, what's next for the Vegas Golden Knights is that they're taking on the Chicago Blackhawks at the United Center, and that is going to be a good performance by Vegas. You're going to see Connor Bedard, the future of the NHL, Connor Bedard, as in person as they take on the Chicago Blackhawks on Saturday at the United Center. And then on Tuesday, they will be coming back home to the Fortress T-Mobile Arena, and they'll be taking on the Philadelphia Flyers on Tuesday. We will be at that game, by the way, here on Vegas Hockey Hub. I will be taking footage. I'll be recording video for Vegas Hockey Hub. It'll be on all our social medias. So, once again, taking on Chicago on Saturday in Chicago, then heading back home on Tuesday, taking on Philadelphia, the Broad Street Bullies. And I will say, when it comes to the Philadelphia Flyers, that's going to be a good matchup. I have 2 friends of mine who are Philadelphia Flyers fans, so I'm going to annoy the heck out of them while the game's going on. So as we're getting towards the end of our wrap-up show here on Vegas Hockey Hub, I do want to preview a future show that will be on the network. So this tonight at 6 p.m., we are going to be doing a player profile on Ben Hutton. We're actually going to record this right after the show. We'll be uploading it at 6 p.m. tonight on PR Connections Radio. So once again, Ben Hutton, a player profile on him. He has done a good job so far this year, so it makes a lot of sense. We're going to do a player profile on Ben Hutton, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, here on Vegas Hockey Hub. And I will also say we are doing a lot of more shows. We're doing more stuff here on the network. We have more player profiles down in the works. In fact, we have not 1, not 2, not 3, but we have 4 player profiles that are either in development or are being recorded and finalized now. I will say Ben Hutton is definitely the one that we are finished and finalized. That will be out tonight. We are currently working on a player profile for Brett Howden and for Michael Amadio, and I've started the script for Alec Martinez. So when it comes to the player profiles, I like putting them out. I like seeing how a player progresses from when they were a junior to college hockey to minor league hockey, then becoming a major league hockey player and being in the NHL. So I will say to everyone watching Vegas Hockey Hub and PR Connections Radio, those are kind of the player profiles we're working on. Once again, 6 p.m. tonight, 8 p.m. Central. Ben Hutton will be on PRConnectionsRadio.com, player profile here on Vegas Hockey Hub. And I also will mention PR Connections Radio. We Have the Power will also be on the air tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central. Brian Gardner, he puts out amazing content here on PR Connections Radio. So tonight, Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, Brian Gardner, We've Got the Power at 5 p.m. And that will be right before Vegas Hockey Hub, which will be at 6. So that will be a fantastic Friday night, a good amount of content here on PR Connections Radio. I also want to give a little bit of a shout out to Guy Dawson for creating PR Connections Radio, because after all, if he didn't put out the network, Vegas Hockey Hub would not be on the air. And Dana for doing what she's doing behind the scenes. Have a lot of props and respect for her. She's putting a lot of work behind the scenes. So this is Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele, and I will say to everyone watching around the world, the Henderson Silver Knights are also doing their home opener on Friday and Saturday. So this will be a fun situation. San Jose Barracudas, Dollar Loan Center, season opener for the Henderson Silver Knights. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a good amount of time. And for the UNLV Skating Rebels, they're going to be taking on University of Utah, and that's going to be such a fun situation. Tonight and tomorrow, the Skating Rebels, UNLV, will be at the City National Arena taking on the Utah Utes out there in college hockey. So, Vegas Golden Knights taking on Chicago, check. Henderson taking on San Jose, check. And UNLV taking on Utah, triple check. So, it's a fun weekend of hockey as you have the Henderson Silver Knights, Vegas Golden Knights, and UNLV Rebels hockey. There's going to be a good amount of fun. But we're not going to stop there, because there is a junior hockey team that is earning a lot of respect recently. I've been keeping an eye on them, and I will say it, they definitely are doing a good job right now. The Las Vegas T-Birds, they are definitely doing a good job right now. I actually have a lot of respect for what the owner is doing out there for the Las Vegas T-Birds. And I do want to mention for them that their schedule for the Las Vegas T-Birds out there in the United States Hockey League, their next match is actually going to be not this week, but next week. They're going to be taking on the San Diego Sabres, which is definitely a lot of fun. Sorry, my apologies. Okay. They're going to be taking on the Bakersfield Roughnecks on October 27th. So October 27th, they'll be taking on the Bakersfield Roughnecks. So that's definitely going to be a fun thing to watch. They have a YouTube channel, so if you want to watch their games, go October 27th, 28th, and 29th against Bakersfield, the Las Vegas T-Birds. So once again, I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. This is Vegas Hockey Hub. We are doing our recap show here on the Winnipeg Jets. And I'll be saying once again, the Vegas Golden Knights will be taking on the Chicago Blackhawks on Saturday. Henderson Silver Knights will be taking on San Jose at a Dollar Loan Center Friday and Saturday. And the UNLV Skating Rebels will be taking on University of Utah on Friday and Saturday at City National Arena. And then the junior hockey team, the Las Vegas T-Birds, out there in the United States Hockey League, will be taking on Bakersfield next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday out there in the United States Premier Hockey League. So, once again, this is Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele, and this has definitely been a good show. And I will say to everyone watching all around the world, continue watching hockey, go support junior hockey, and go Knights, go!